Okay, cool.
We're live. Hi,
Woo!
guys.
I'm excited.
How are you, Cait? It's so good to see you again.
You too, Denise. Thanks for having me on this Halloween weekend.
Look at us.
I know. I mean, well, you really you look amazing. I feel like I should have kicked it up a notch with these ears.
No, I just, we're doing this pumpkin patch trip this weekend. So I have to get dressed and that's why the wig and the dark unicorn horn here
Yeah, you're in character. You're getting into character early.
I
I
know.
love it.
Fun. Well, we love your ears. Love
Thank
these
you.
sparkly Minnie Mouse ears or just
Yes,
mouse?
they are Minnie Mouse straight from Disney World.
Oh
So,
my gosh, those are special. Oh, cool. Okay, so I'm looking at us inside our Facebook, excuse me, not our group, on the page. So
perfect.
yeah, we're on Dr. Denise Simpson public page. I'm Dr. Denise Simpson. I am here with my very, very special guest and friend, Cait Ross. We're gonna have Cait introduce herself in just a minute, but I just want to welcome everyone to season 2 of Align365 live show. Oh my goodness. We're here, Cait. We're doing this again.
That's right. We're doing it.
So Cait was a guest on my last show and she was so amazing, so captivating. An expert in her field. And we'll explain more about Cait and her background. But it was time for us to bring back Align365 Live. And so this is season 2 premiere, and I hope to bring you guys some of the most amazing thought leaders like Cait and many others that are here to help us find alignment with our mind, body, and spirit. So Cait was just the ideal person to bring on to help us showcase this new season. So thank you, Cait. We're here. Yay!
Yay, I'm so excited.
So if you guys are hopping on, say hello, tell us, give us a thumbs up or a heart and say hello in the chat. We'll be sure to see you here on our Facebook page. Oh yay, we got it. We got a thumbs up already.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
let's do it.
Cool. So Cait, as I shared, was on our last season. And I had to invite her back again because she's just amazing and is just such a thought leader and expert in her field. And today we're going to talk about, wait for it, gut health. Okay, let's say that again. Gut
health.
Okay, so what does that have to do with alignment? Well, it has so much to do with alignment. Because as you know, in Align365, in our private Facebook group, and really, my life philosophy is finding balance between mind, body, spirit. Obviously, the temple is where our spirit is housed. This is where, we must really tune into first so that we can then, live our fullest potential. So we have to take care of our bodies, our physical bodies. And so Cait is going to share with us about gut health and things that we should do and we should look out for. Now, Cait is a woman's health coach. She's a corporate wellness consultant. She just got back from doing 2 workshops for corporate America in Chicago. She's on a mission to help people find true health, abundance, and vitality in their lives. And again, today she's going to help us do that. And we're going to talk about gut health. Cait, welcome. Hi.
Thanks, Denise. Hi, how are you? I still can't get over the costume. I love it. You look great.
Oh my gosh, I'm a little out of control today. So I'm sorry if I keep messing with this crazy wig. It's just silly. But tell us, Cait, will you introduce yourself to us, whatever you'd like to share with us? And more importantly, can you share a little bit about your journey and how you got here today in empowering others?
Absolutely, Denise. I would love to. So as Denise mentioned, I'm a women's health coach and corporate wellness consultant. So that's a lot of words, right? Like, what does that all mean? And really my journey with health and wellness and helping people feel really vital in their physical, mental, and emotional bodies started from a young age. I grew up a competitive figure skater and dancer from the age of 5. So nutrition and wellness and movement was always a really big part of my life. And I always kind of defined health in this square box of eating a certain way and working out a certain way. And really I got to a point where I was very rigid, and I would feel guilty if I ate something that was outside of what I thought I should eat, or if I skipped a workout. And it wasn't until after about eight or 9 years in corporate America in my adult life, when I went through a very stressful period with my career, that I really realized health goes so much further beyond just food and exercise. There's so many more facets to health and really how we feel. And I really believe that in order to live our purpose and live the best life and to make really wonderful, sustaining human connections, we have to have our health, right? Like if we have brain fog, or we're not feeling well, or we're anxious, or our blood sugar's on a roller coaster, we're not going to be able to show up every day how we want to show up in the world. So I really love going deep with people and really going beyond. Now, don't get me wrong, food and exercise are such a big part of feeling well. But again, health and well-being goes so much deeper than that. So I have a really strong passion and mission to help individuals, businesses, and people really just thrive at the end of the day, so that we can all make an impact in the world we're living in.
Yay, you, Cait. Thank you so much. We need more healers like you, more empowerment workers like you, because we're all just trying to be better. And we're just, we should be trying to be better and to try to better ourselves and our world. And I'm so happy that you're in it and helping others do that. So let's talk about gut health. So something really important you said to me, or you just said now, is brain fog, brain health, gut and brain connection. And for me, that's really important, and really got me on the path of learning more about gut health, was my mother suffering from Alzheimer's from the age of 48 to 63 years old. So my mother suffered from cognitive decline very early. I'm 41, so she experienced cognitive decline at the age of 48. So I am trying to be preventive, doing preventative health. Epigenetics is something that I'm obsessed with. So I got involved in really looking at my health, my temple, my body, my brain. And so when you just said, brain fog, brain health, and how the gut, has a strong connection between the two here, and how they affect each other. That was the start of my journey with gut health. Was that strong connection between the two. And so again, all because of my mother's experience and her health issues. So why don't we start there, if you don't mind, Cait? Because, yes, or how about we start with a basic introductory of gut health? Kind of misconceptions, myths, or things that we should know about. And then if we can go into perhaps a little bit of the brain-gut connection.
Absolutely. Let's do it. I love this. I could talk about this all day. So we're in the right place.
Right on.
I think what's really important to know is health in general, whether it's gut health, brain health, is, a lot of people think, genetics, like my mom or my dad or my grandparents, or this runs in my family. That's certainly really empowering to know and have that information at your fingertips. But the reality is only 15% of health conditions are genetic related. So 85% or more are environmental and lifestyle choices. So I think it's really amazing, though, because it puts the power and the control back on us.
So Cait, can you say that again, please? Because we have to underscore that, because that's the idea of epigenetics, right? Lifestyle and the environment, and how it it expresses a genetic marker, right? So can you just say that again, and everyone please listen to this part, because this is so huge.
Up to your seats. Yes, so 85%, right? That's a huge number. 85% of chronic illness, disease, conditions that we collectively get as a population are from lifestyle and environmental factors in our environment. So again, I think that's really empowering when you think about how much we can take control. And when you talk about epigenetics, I love the analogy of a loaded gun, right? Like, if you know that, diabetes runs in your family, which is certainly linked to blood sugar and insulin, then that's a bullet in your health gun, right? So you know that that's something you need to just be really mindful of. But just because it's in the gun doesn't mean it's going to fire off, right? And that you're going to get diabetes. But if you're not mindful, then you might be more susceptible than your spouse or, your friend, because they don't have that gene in their DNA. So again, really important to know and be mindful of what runs in your family history, but then also knowing that you can be really intentional about what you're doing to mitigate your risks of actually ever getting and having something really manifest.
Beautiful. Thank you for stressing that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think two scientists that stand out to me right now is Dr. Bruce Lipton. Is it Bruce? I think it's Bruce. Yeah. And he's a microbiologist. And then Dr. David Perlmutter, who is a neurologist. And so these two treat their patients with a change in lifestyle and diet as opposed to pharmaceuticals. And so again, all because of epigenetics and the research that they've conducted and they provide in their books regarding the power that we do hold in either expressing those genetic markers or not. And I love the analogy of the loaded gun. That's super powerful. Wow.
I know, and I think a lot of people too think like Alzheimer's is a brain disorder ultimately, right? And symptoms that we get, brain fog, memory issues, we automatically think that it originates in the brain, but I think that's why when we talk about gut health, it's so important, because a lot of that and a lot of conditions these days actually originate in the gut, which is our second brain ultimately, because there's so much that happens there that controls all the neurotransmitters and all the chemicals that are feeding throughout our body that are instructing other parts of our body how to operate.
So good. Yeah. So tell us, Cait, some basic things we need to know. Everyone sit up because it's time to listen up. Get your pen and paper out so we can really learn about some basic things that we should know about gut health and what we can start doing today, Cait. How could we do that? How could we get involved now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, again, just to reiterate, because I think I cannot stress this enough, and I think it's so important to know, is even if you're not having physical, like, quote unquote, gut or digestive symptoms, does not mean that your gut might be out of balance. A lot of people come to me in my coaching practice and they're like, well, I'm not having digestive issues. So then their brain kind of turns off, right? Because they think that it's not relevant. But I would encourage everyone listening to really listen, because whether it's anxiety, depression, just irritability in general, skin is a huge thing. I always say what's happening on the external is totally a function of what's happening on the internal. Totally. And I think for us that are here in Austin during this water boil process with the risk of the bacteria, right? Like that's all linked to, we have these microorganisms living inside of us. There are more bacterial cells in our body than there are human cells. Wow. So we're actually, when you think about it, like we are more, if you break it down, we are more bacteria than we are human. So a lot of times that bacteria, that combination and that mix of bacteria is actually what's controlling our mood, our food cravings. For the people out there that crave a lot of sugar and think like, oh, I just don't have the willpower. It's not you. It's not willpower. A lot of times it's what's living in your system. And if it gets out of whack, that can absolutely reflect in how you feel every day. Okay. So again, just want to hit home on that. Yeah. As far as some really great tips that I love, as far as, food sources, obviously the food that we eat is really, really important. But oftentimes it's not even just what we eat, what we're digesting and what we're actually absorbing. So I always say you can be eating like all of the organic and great food in the world, but if you're rushing as you eat and you're not chewing your food properly, it sounds so simplistic, but if we're not chewing properly, our bodies aren't able to digest that, and that's what essentially leads us on a path of, we hear leaky gut a lot. We hear IBS. We hear all these bloating issues and all these stomach ulcers that a lot of times can be contributed back to the fact that we're not eating in a mindful way. right? So I always say it's not what you're eating, it's how you're eating it. So something I love to do before meals, and trust me, I am not perfect. Like we always say, we teach what we need to learn the most. So I'm just as guilty as the next person.
Uh-huh.
When we're going to sit down for a meal, like to really connect back to our center before we start eating. Because ultimately, if we're in this stressed out state where we're rushing, our bodies are in this fight or flight response, our nervous system's in a fight or flight response. And when we're in a fight or flight response, our digestion is actually stopped. Our body physiologically stops digestion because when we were primates, we were in danger and our bodies had to go into that stage. It would shut down digestion, reproduction, other essential functions so that we could escape that lion. But if you fast forward to the modern day, when we're in fight or flight, it's usually not because we're being chased by a lion or we're really at risk of real danger. It's just a lot of times in our head, and it's a mindset, a thought pattern that we just are repeating over and over again that's stressing us out, or sometimes it's a work obligation, or just perhaps saying yes to too many things and feeling overwhelmed. And then as we eat, we take in all that energy with the food with us. So I always say, just if you sit down and really just connect to the food you're about to eat, maybe do like a little minute or so gratitude, just thinking again and being really grateful for the food. And then just doing 6 or 7 really deep belly breaths.
Oh.
Where your belly is actually rising with the inhale. So you're really getting down in there into the diaphragm when you're breathing.
Can we do that, Cait? Can we try?
Yeah, let's do it. So if you put your hands on your stomach, so you can feel it.
Okay.
And sometimes, you can close your eyes if you want, but we can keep them open for today. And then I always say, just check your shoulders too. We carry a lot of tension in our shoulders, so sometimes we're walking around like this.
Yeah.
Just do a little shoulder roll, and maybe just kind of loosen the neck a little, just so you feel a little more relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
Shake out the wrist. Shake it up.
Shimmy. Do a little
That's
shimmy.
right.
Shimmy with your wig.
Yeah, that's right. And then put your hands on your belly. And then just start to deep breathe. And on the inhale, just feel your hands rise. And on the exhale, feel them contract with your belly. And don't really try to force it too much. Let it flow naturally. So we're trying to we're trying to release the tension. So we don't want to do too much controlling of the breath. We just want to notice it and try to go a little deeper with each one. So I like to do a few rounds of that. And again, just also connecting back to the gratitude factor is really important because that lights up certain neurotransmitters like dopamine, oxytocin, it releases in our brain. And these are all really, really beneficial hormones for our health. So when we can do that and just kind of, again, get to this grounded place where we're really reconnected with ourselves.
Yeah.
Then, that food experience, that whether you're alone or you're with other people, that experience is going to be profoundly different than if you were rushing, inhaling food on the go, not even chewing it, not realizing that it's getting lodged in your body because you were doing it in such a way that was not setting your body up for success and how it can digest and assimilate that food.
That is so powerful. So let me reiterate. So it's not just, the food, the quality of the food that we eat, but there's so much more to that, right? It's so much more to buying the best organic foods or well-sourced foods, high quality foods. But it's just taking the time, like we just did that amazing exercise. I could do that anytime I start feeling stressed, but especially before you're about to eat. So that you're able to then not only be grateful for what you're eting, but then also set your digestive system ready for success, like you said.
Yeah.
So taking small intentional bites, being very, very, conscious of what you're putting into your body and letting the process, the digestive process happen. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
Very good.
Something else I love to tell people, and not a lot of people realize this one, is to be mindful about liquid intake during your meal. So water actually dilutes what's called hydrochloric acid, which is what's inside of our stomach that helps us break down that food.
Wow.
So the pH of our stomach is actually similar to that of battery acid. So it's a very low pH. It's very acidic, but it's supposed to be that way. Otherwise, our stomachs would not be able to break down food. Wow. So what happens is when we drink during a meal, we're diluting a lot of that stomach acid, and we're not able to digest the food properly. So I always say if you're going to drink and maybe stop like 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes before the meal, and then after a meal, wait like 5 or 10 minutes until you're done to really be like drinking again.
So 5 to 10 minutes before the meal and then 5 to 10 after.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. I did not know that, Cait. That's incredible.
Yeah. It's a little hidden secret of mine. Not a lot of people, a lot of people do, but a lot of people that I work with, notice a pretty profound impact after they make that little tweak.
Right on. Excellent. Any more hacks? Any more tweaks?
So this is one I love, and we talk about digestion again. We often talk and we think just food, but I always tell people digestion goes so far beyond the plate. Digestion is anything that we're coming into contact with on a daily basis, right? Like our nervous systems, our bodies, we're constantly having to evolve and adapt to our surroundings. And let's face it, we live in the modern age, which is a really busy and hectic world, right? Like I'm sitting here and there's cars flying by out the window. There's people moving. We're on our phones a lot, right? Like these bad boys, there's a lot of electromagnetic fields and technology that's radiating through there. So when we have our heads down all day, or if we're on the computer, our body has to really digest all of that coming in, whether that's social media, the news, which tends to be a little bit more negative in nature, sunshine, which can be really positive, right? So all these things that we come into contact with, ultimately our bodies have to quote unquote digest. So I always empower people and challenge people to think a little bit beyond food. It's like you can be eating, again, I know when I went through my health crisis, if you want to call it, at the time I was eating really well, actually. I was eating how you would think someone that would feel really good and that was thriving would be eating. But because of other things that I was taking into my body physically, I wasn't thriving. Yeah. So, just being mindful of how much we're on social media, like that stuff can have a profound impact on our digestion physically, and then ultimately how we feel just from an overall health perspective.
Wow. That is such a great point. I'm glad you're bringing that up because it's true. I mean, we're on social media. Hello, we're on social media right now.
Yeah.
I mean, my home office is rigged with everything, a television, computers. I've got more than one computer here. I've got, ring lights that I'm using to brighten up my face. I mean, we've got printers, phones. I mean, I've got this little hub here of electronics. And it's true. I didn't think of it that way, Cait, and that our bodies are digesting this energy. Mm-hmm. And something I talked about on Align365, and that's something I'm doing now on my Facebook page. It's 7 minutes or so to help people find alignment every day. Although yesterday I rambled on and went over 7 minutes, but in that rambling, I talked about how sensitive I am to the news and to news stories online, and how I have to be very protective of what I put into my brain. And so I'm very particular with that because of how sensitive I am. And so that could absolutely influence my gut health and how I'm taking that into my body. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't realize too is stress has a big impact, like the bad stress, right? Sometimes stress can be really empowering. So I don't like to knock on stress like a lot of people do, but the toxic stress in our lives has the ability to disrupt the makeup of our guts within a matter of seconds. Yeah. So when our brain views an event as stressful, and that could be an event that's actually happening, or oftentimes it's an event that we're imagining in our head, right? Like we're ruminating on something happening in the future or thinking about something that was stressful in the past. That has the ability to change the mix of the good and bad bacteria in our guts. So stress is a really big component to gut health. So again, when we talk about it's not just food, it's not just all this stuff, stress is a big component of it. So being, I think, really mindful about what triggers us. And I think everyone's different, right? So some people could be on social media maybe for 30 minutes and they're fine. They don't feel affected at all.
Right.
Others, it's a shorter amount of time. So I think it all goes back to just knowing yourself and knowing what your limits are, and then just making sure that you're honoring those on a daily and a regular basis.
Yeah, right on, Cait. So I'm looking at our time. I want to respect your time and everyone who's watching. So if we can wrap up with the brain and gut connection. I know we talked about that at the top of our call. For an example of brain and gut, or at least I should say what I do because of the brain and gut connection, I do a probiotic, and I also am, or at least try to be, as gluten-free as possible. I don't have celiac disease. It's again because of the research showing the correlation between grains, gluten, especially, and brain disorders. And so anything else that you can share with us on, prevention and helping us with that brain-gut connection?
Yeah, I love the idea of taking a really good quality probiotic. I think that's awesome. A lot of people too, especially if you are having digestive issues, can really benefit from digestive enzymes, which help when you take them with a meal ultimately, and they help to break down the mix of carbohydrates, protein, and fat within that food. So it can help to assimilate and break that food down better, and really, really important for people that are having clear digestive issues. That can be really, really powerful. So those are two things I love as far as just like supplementation's concerned. As far as food's concerned, gluten for sure is a top one. Even people that don't have celiac typically feel a lot better when they cut out gluten and dairy as well to a certain extent. Yeah. And I think these things, they get a bad rap for being like the kind of like the evil foods out there. But the reality is there's been a lot that we've done in America that has altered the makeup of those foods. So sometimes people will, and I know myself included, like if I'm traveling overseas, I can have gluten and dairy in Europe and I'm okay. I don't feel the brain fog and like the blood sugar crashes that I do over here. So, and that's not to, say that won't change eventually. And hopefully there's a lot of, I think, activists out there that are trying to change the way that our food is manufactured and grown. But ultimately, I see a lot of people benefit from eliminating those two foods in their diet. And then the third one, I would say, as far as gut health is concerned, I say you really cannot minimize the impact of human connection. I think it's so important to just laugh and have fun and sometimes just stop taking ourselves so seriously. I think we all have like that type A. A lot of us have that type A go-getter. We want to change the world personality. I know myself included, but I really can't overstate the importance of just connecting, unplugging, and really being present with loved ones. Because like I said, when we do that, we release all kinds of really great feel-good hormones and chemicals in our body that have a really strong impact on our physical and mental well-being. So the more that we can just connect back to, at the end of the day, relationships and our loved ones, the better off we're going to be in terms of health, in terms of vitality, and I think it's a really powerful thing.
Oh my gosh, Cait, thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
So helpful, so inspiring. I hope you guys took down some really great notes. And if you're watching the replay, make sure you comment below, send us a message. We're still going to engage with you. Cait, will you share with us how our friends can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my website is Cait Ross Co. So CAIT Ross ROSSCO.com. And that is also my Facebook and my Instagram account as well. So you can find me at Cait Ross Co. on social media. And I just want to thank you again, Denise, for having me today. It was so lovely. I'm so honored to be kicking off season 2 of your wonderful show. And super excited for the Halloween weekend.
Yes, I appreciate you, Cait. Thank you so much. And we'll end on that amazing note that Cait, or I should say, prescription she gave us to go get connected, drop our phones this weekend, be present, spend time with our loved ones, just, reconnect, rejuvenate, and have a wonderful time this weekend with families and with your families and with your friends. And so, Cait, I wish you the best. Thank you so much. And everyone have a safe holiday weekend. Y'all take care.
Bye.
Bye.